Hello everyone. I want to make a little video today because it is not really my custom to do that, because it's a challenge and it scares me and stuff. But I had an experience yesterday that was beyond anything that I can put on words. And I know that a lot of you are going through a lot of anxiety, a lot of different emotions that we're not used to deal with, that usually in the daily life we're trying to run away from. And so we do that through many different strategies, right? And we tend to distract ourselves a lot. We numb with different kinds of things. And right now being a moment where we need to stay indoors, we need to, spend more time with family members, and we need to, we're really diving deep into our own issues. So stuff is coming up and we don't know how to deal with it. And some of us are trying to keep the vibe high, but this stuff is coming up for a reason. It's and everything that's happening is happening for a reason. And there were a lot of things that we hadn't been paying attention to. And so when something like this happens, we are forced to go inside and look at ourselves and really see what's going on. And how that happens is, for the most part, for people that are not as aware, is in the form of reactions, right? And it doesn't matter how much work you do to try to stop a reaction. You've experienced it before, right? It feels impossible. And so what I want to talk about today, and if there's any way that I could help you out, because I've been helping myself for years now, and everything that I've done through the years has brought me a lot more awareness of myself. I was in that spot of depression, anxiety, fear, of many things. And I was always in search of something. I was always in search, and I found so many things, and everything, absolutely everything was helpful. However, there was one thing that I found that made it made a huge difference in my life. There was a before and after, and I'm gonna tell you, there's been a lot of before and afters in my life, and there's been a lot of therapies and a lot of things that have helped me and that have been marvelous. However, this is specific one, I'm talking about when you are right there in the fire, and you don't know what to do, and you feel like there is no way out of it. And so it seems like the only resource that you have in that moment, it is feelings or thoughts of hopelessness and of fear. And so you go there automatically. It seems like there's nothing you can do. And it comes with really profound feelings that you don't understand how to deal with. It seems like it goes beyond what you can do on your own. So a few years ago, I found this technique that truly changed my life. And what is interesting is that I actually don't use it very often for myself anymore. But when I do, it's because it is one of those situations where you feel like there's no out. There is no way out. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so in those moments, for some reason, I always find myself going back to that healing, that technique. And it always amazes me how it breaks something inside of me free every single time that I've done it. And it has put me in through some amazing experiences that I can't even explain, because it almost feels like it works in a different dimension. It works in your unconscious. And I love everything that has to do with the unconscious mind. And I have done, different techniques and whatnot to to talk to the unconscious mind. And this one, though, specifically, it is so gentle, and you don't really feel like you're doing any profound work. In the meantime, while you feel like it's a little game, your unconscious mind is showing up, and it's showing up in a big way. It is showing itself up pretty much, like it's coming out. And because it's been hiding, there are parts of us that have been hiding for a very long time. There are parts of us that we have acquired from when we were growing up, behaviors that were modeled to us, and we're not even conscious of them. And we have given our lives to this programming, unconscious programming, and we don't even know. And so we are giving all of our energy away into these ideas. Sometimes we defend them. They can come up in the form of feelings, beliefs, ideas that you've had for a long time that you don't even know why you believe in that or why you follow that. They're very subtle. And the only thing is that, when you're working with them, it's almost creepy because they become almost entities. And in a way that you start giving your power to them. And so you don't understand why you feel so tired. You don't understand why you're feeling ill. You don't understand. Your vital power is going to this programming or this entity or this emotion or this thought. And you don't understand that, all of your energy is going there. And this is why you feel exhausted. This is why you feel sometimes like there's no will to live. That, things just don't make sense. What am I doing? Because we haven't got to the depth of our heart and soul. We haven't. And so if there's any doubt in your mind of who you are, of what you're doing in this planet, of your direction, if you are not like 1,000,000% sure, there's a probability that somewhere in your life you are letting go of a lot of energy into this programming and to this unconscious mind. And so I had an amazing experience yesterday. I was having one of those moments, and actually my partner and I were actually both trained in this. So when stuff gets hard is one thing, right? But then when you are living with someone and they know, or like, oh, this is the end of the rope, like there's something here that's huge. And so it was kind of one of those days for me. And he knew that, right? So I didn't even ask for it, but we started a whole process. And it was almost 2 hours before I was actually done. And I can't really explain or put it in words what really happens, but it is huge. It's huge. There something lifts from your life. Pretty much all of those voices lift, and then for the first time you see clear. You feel hope. You feel like you're one with yourself. A lot of times we're walking in this world feeling divided with ourselves, and this is why we are projecting, with everyone we see around us. This is why social media can be so dangerous, because we're always projecting. We always feel incomplete, divided, not good enough. And we are walking like that, thinking that that is normal. But I'm going to tell you something, that is not normal. We are not meant to live like that. We are complete entities. We are complete the way we were born, how we are. We shouldn't feel divided with ourselves or with other humans for that matter. And unity and love in the end is what makes us feel, you know, worthy. And I'm gonna say, like, it's not, we're walking feeling unworthy and unlovable and, you know, not good enough, not smart enough, not wealthy enough. So what I want to explain today about this technique, that if you are having trouble in these moments of life, you know, where things are shifting and changing, where we don't feel secure and everything is uncertain, if you're overwhelmed, if you need help, please reach out. Please reach out. There are a lot of people out there that are right now helping. They are doing the best they can to show that there is another way. There's a different way. And there are many different resources. There are many different ways. However, if that's what you're feeling, reach out. And part of the reason why I'm telling you this story is because it happens to all of us. It happens to the person that you think it is the strongest person, you know, and that none of this would happen. It happens to the person that on social media looks like, you know, sunshine, and it's happening to them. It's happening to everyone. Don't let yourself be fooled, you know, by appearances. Don't compare yourself. Is the worst thing you can be doing. And however, when there are emotions that are rising up in yourself, like anger, like envy, like jealousy, like hate, anything that is not socially accepted, and we can hoard these emotions and then be ashamed of them. The way that this technique works is by speaking to each one of these entities, emotions that arise. Because a lot of people, and how we have grown in society, right? And we're always told that this is wrong, don't feel like this, not this emotion is wrong, oh my God, lust, you know, all of these things. So we've been hiding all of these things. And the way that my teacher puts it is, I really like the example of the 10,000 children. You have 10,000 children, and 5,000 of them are, you know, you don't want to show them up to the world because you're embarrassed by them. 5,000 are amazing, you know, they're everything you ever want. And so when you are, you know, when you have a party in your home, you only show your 5,000 that are amazing, right? And they're all well behaved and they're amazing. And you have another 5,000 that you really despise. And if it was up to you, you would make them disappear. The problem is that they don't. So you put them in the basement and you lock them in the basement. And those poor children have no water, no food. You lock them there in the hope that they're not going to come up and bother you. Well, what do you think is going to happen, right? When your life in the outside is looking all perfect, and you think that you are controlling everything that's happening in your life, and then all of a sudden something happens, and you don't understand why. And you don't want to look at it either because it's nasty. Either you reacted in some sort of way, somebody said something to you that made you feel horrible, and then now you're building all these stories. Like, and then you wonder, like, what's really going on? I'm focusing on love, you know, the child. That's love. I'm focusing on gratitude. I'm focusing on wealth. And I'm focusing on all of these amazing things. I am spending all of my energy, you know, doing mantras and talking about faith and hope and freedom, health. So the thing that I have learned is that your light, in the proportion of your light, there's also darkness. And so, and that every good emotion has its counterpart, right? And so we are wanting to deal only with the emotions and the experiences that we find good for us, that we find positive for us, right? We want to be happy, you know, we want to be healthy, and so we focus on that. But every once in a while, you know, our train gets off the tracks, and then you don't understand why that happened, and then you make such a huge effort to get yourself back into track. And we see it with, you know, in ourselves every time we want to get back into a diet or back into an exercise. Why is it that it's so hard for us? Why is it that it's so hard? We are working so hard for one thing in our lives that we forget that the counterpart is actually chasing us. And we never want to give the, you know, we don't want to turn back and look at it. But I'm going to tell you something. When you do that, and I'm going to call it in a term that we've heard before, right? When we face our demons, but I'm going to explain why they're actually not demons. When we face these things, the struggle, my friend, goes away, because the struggle is what doesn't need to be there. And we are so used to the struggle, you know? What do we call it? Grind. We call it hustle. And we become so proud of this struggle. And I know that a lot of the same things that I have learned from other ways of dealing with the unconscious mind, this would be the wrong way of saying it, because in fact, if you see it on the opposite way, there always needs to be a struggle, but that's a different subject. I am talking about the subject of the entities that live within you, that you're fighting every day, that don't need to, there doesn't need to be a fight, because there's no war. We make war with ourselves all the time because we pick and choose. And, you know, we want to bring everyone to the table, everyone, and ask them, what do you have to say? Anger in my life. What do you have to say? Grief in my life. To all the things that we don't want to look at, the things that we're running away from. What do those emotions and those energies, because they are energies, they're vibrating inside of you, and you think they're going to leave you alone if you keep ignoring them? No, it becomes pain in your body, pain in your soul, because they're messengers. They are messengers. They are here to give you a precious message, not any kind of message. It's actually the message that is here to change your life. Only that, to change your life. And you're running away from it. You're running away from it as fast as possible. And you're filling your life with useless things. And then your ego makes you believe that you're happy, and you're not, and you know it because you're smart. but you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And we have come up with all these sayings. And why do we come up with them? Oh, but everything in my life is going so well and I am so scared because I don't want it to go. It's all there. It's all there. People go and make millions and then they lose it all. Why do you think that is? In the same proportion of the light of the wealth, there is poverty. In the same proportion of happiness, there's misery. In the same proportion of this, there's that. We are living in duality. And so accepting that and living our life through that is going to really give us the meaning of our life. Why am I here for? Why is this showing up? Because it's far greater than me. It's energy, it's a message. It's here to tell me something. We have to stop running away from anything that makes us scared or sad or depressed. We need to turn our face to that. Pay attention. And when we pay attention and we listen, we get the message. And when you get that message, literally, your life changes. Because in that message, there's a code. There's a code for your life, specifically for you, specifically something that you came to this earth to work on. So don't feel overwhelmed when all of these feelings pile up on you and you feel like there's no hope, like there's no way out. Because these things are here for a reason. And if you want to find out, they might just be the answer that you were always looking for, but never really knowing and understanding where to find it. So you went outside of you to find it, and it was within you all this time. If you want to learn more about this technique and many others that I have been able to learn through the years because of my own human condition and my own insatiable thirst for finding, what is it that was in my unconscious mind? Why do I behave the way I behave? Why do I think the way I think? Why do I feel the way I feel? And all of these things. Reach out. Reach out. I would love to be able to help you out. And honestly, it comes from a deep knowing in my heart that we are here to get through things together, and that there doesn't need to be a struggle with the things that are calling you. Even if you don't like them in the moment, even if they feel uncertain, because we feel uncertainty when we feel these emotions that we haven't yet understood why they're here for. We haven't given them enough attention. But I'm telling you, it's fast. We feel sometimes that we have to live through this thing and it's gonna take us years, and it doesn't. It doesn't. The moment that you turn to face these things, the moment you turn and you give your awareness to them, they honor you. They honor you, and they're not here to kill you. And so when you open up a line of communication and you start relating to those things and loving them, I'm going to tell you how it feels in me in a very small and practical way, because in reality, I know that there's a lot more going on. But it feels as if there are 1,000 voices talking in my head all at the same time. They, in the form of emotions and things, and they're just like, and they make you feel unease. And you don't know what to do, so you keep active, then you do one thing, then you do another, then you do another. But then there's one moment where you're like, okay, that's it. And then you turn and look at them. One by one, they show up. They give their face. They honor you. And they bring the message to you. There's a moment where all of that chatter, all of that anxiety, all of that, everything that was on you ceases. And there's an absolute silence and peace. And then one little element appears in your life. One element out of the blue. And you see it. I have had visions. I have traveled through time doing that exercise. You see things, you feel things. Things come up that you've never, ever felt before or thought about yourself. Knowledge, awareness, the magical piece that you needed to get through these comes up. And then you know, oh my God. Oh my God. All this counsel was here to bring me this gift that was meant to get me through this storm. The fight, the war wasn't with them. This was my counsel. And I was ignoring them, going through the thing, not even knowing what I was doing. You know, we are in serious times. What are we going to choose to do? Are we going to stand up for ourselves? Are we going to honor who we really are and stand up? Or are we going to let someone else decide for us? And we go through these not knowing what we're doing and looking for the answers outside of us and like, please, what do I do? Tell me what do I do? Because I don't know, I'm lost. And all this time, this counsel is following you. And you're ignoring it because it feels terrible. The moment you sit with your counsel and they speak, you receive a gift. And that is what is going to get you through anything that you're going through your life. And you will have clarity that you haven't had before. And you will know exactly what to do. It is really, really my wish that every single human in this planet wakes up to who they really are and to dive deep into their heart and their soul, because that is where the answers are. That is where the solutions are. They're not outside of us. So that is it for today. I love you all. I know that everyone is going through a struggle, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. At least not the part that is sitting on your unconscious. You can thrive and you can bloom and blossom and then face whatever it is that you have to go and face, the reality, your reality, which that's another subject for another time. But you create your own reality. And so when you start recognizing that you have all the power within you, you truly have all the power within you. And I'm going to say this again, you truly have all the power within you. When you start waking up to that reality, you will know what to do. And no one else will be able to tell you what to do and who to be and what to say and how to act and how to feel and what to think. And I would love for you to get there. Peace.